हेलो स्टूडेंट। आपका मेरे इस यूट्यूब चैनल पर मोस्ट वेलकम। नेक्स्ट वीडियो आई अपलोडेड दिस। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई विल डिस्कस अबाउट दैट यूनिट एंड डायमेंशन seventh fundamental physical quantity. I will discuss below. Hence, we together I will discuss previous video in the lecture fundamental units. Fundamental units. Fundamental units. As we already know that first first fundamental units is that is that length is that length. Second is mass. Third is time. Fourth is temperature. And five current. Six, luminous intensity. Luminous intensity. Luminous intensity I already discussed in the previous video. Length, mass, time, temperature, and luminous intensity. Luminous intensity, and next will remain current. Current is discussed not in this previous video. So I will next further discuss below that current. What is current? Fundamental unit. What types of fundamental units in this? So next, 1 minute. Current. I discussed current about that. What types of fundamental units of current? Current is a fifth fundamental units in this unit and dimension chapter. So I will start this new session. First of all, you learn fundamental units, and then second topic is derived units. Current. Current is a current. 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 That means dhara. Its SI unit is ampere. SI unit. SI unit. SI unit. Ampere. And its denotation letter A. It is denoted by capital A. And dimensional letter is also A. Dimensional letter is capital A also. And further, this is the whole fundamental units derived ordering. And next topic is that derived units. What is drive units and what is included between and in the drive units? Drive units, two fundamental two fundamental units are included and mapped to any measurement are called drive units. Drive units are uncountable, not a fundamental fundamental units fundamental units are seven. Fundamental units are only seven only, but drive units are not seven. This is uncountable. This is not fixed. Drive units derived units is not fixed, is not fixed. So I will discuss some and few derived units in this chapter, uh, just like usable and applications for the further study about that same syllabus semester 1. So then we recall some drive units. So first drive units I will discuss derived units first. First derived units. Derived units. Derived units first. First. First is that. First is that a speed. A speed. A speed that means chal. Chal. A speed is equal to distance by time. Distance by time. This is the fundamental concept. Uh, as you like you as you your kind information about that. This is the revision type of lecture. So I will solve this uh, dimension and unit and dimension about that distance and time. This is the formula and use to formula and find out the dimension. So distance SI unit is meter and time is second. That means m as inverse. This is the SI unit, and this conclusion or find dimension or find or dimension or find dimension is that m m is 0 because here is not mass is not available. Then m is equal to 0. l l that means length is meter, so l is available. t t t 4 times second inverse, so that means m l t. तो यहाँ पर हम पुट करेंगे t inverse. That means here is written as, and lt inverse is also written as you can say this lt inverse is the right answer for a speed derived units. And second derived units is most important. Above all, 30 35 derived units are discussed or above the in this chapter. Second is acceleration. Second is acceleration. Second is acceleration. Second is acceleration. That means त्वरण. त्वरण. Velocity by time. Velocity by time. Velocity by time. That means वेग बटा समय. वेग बटा समय. I already know that वेग 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 एंड चाल दोनों का जो डायमेंशन होता है, दोनों का जो SI यूनिट एंड डायमेंशन इज सेम. SI यूनिट एंड डायमेंशन इज सेम. SI यूनिट और डायमेंशन जो होता है वो पूरी तरह से सेम होता है. देयर इज नो डिफरेंस बिटवीन दैम. ओके, तो बिफोर आई रिकॉल दिस डायमेंशन, तो वेग दैट मीन्स चाल. चाल का हम साइन यूनिट क्या बताएं? एफ एस इनवर्स. दैट मीन्स एम एस इनवर्स एंड टाइम फॉर सेकेंड इनवर्स. So that means cancel out, and this is not cancel out, -1 or +1. So that means m s -1 and s -1. That means this is added between the m s minus power -2. So this is the SI unit of acceleration. And we talk about the dimension in this units, in these derived units. Then I find that ms -2, this is the derived units. And what is the dimension? The dimension here, mass is not available. That means m is 0, l is equal to available, t is minus power 2. So that means I also written as l t log minus 2. This is the dimension form of acceleration for derived units. And again I recall next fundamental units. Next fundamental units is that force. Force that means bal. Force that means bal. Force is equal to द्रव्यमान बटा त्वरण, mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration. That means mass का ऐसा यूनिट क्या होगा? मास का यूनिट केजी. एक्सेलरेशन का क्या होता है? एक्सेलरेशन का होगा केजी. एक्सेलरेशन का अभी फाइंड किए एम एस माइनस का पावर 2. तो इसी से हम इसके डायमेंशन को फाइंड कर लेंगे. इसके डायमेंशन को फाइंड करेंगे अभी. तो क्या होगा? केजी का हो जाएगा एम. केजी का एम, एल इसके बदले और टी का पावर -2. तो दिस इज द डायमेंशन ऑफ फोर्स. इट्स टू बी कंप्लीटेड. And then next derived units is that work. For number work कार्य. Force is equal to work is equal to force into displacement. Force into displacement. तो फोर्स का हम जानते हैं केजी मीटर सेकेंड इतना. डिस्प्लेसमेंट कोई डिस्टेंस होता है, तो डिस्टेंस का मीटर. एंड अगर इसका हम डायमेंशन की बात करें तो इसके डायमेंशन का यदि हम बात करें तो पहले इसको हम रिकम्बाइंड लिख सकते हैं कि केजी मीटर स्क्वायर सेकेंड और -2, ये इसका डायमेंशनल इसका कंबाइंड फॉर्म हुआ। एंड इसका अगर डायमेंशन का बात करें तो इसके हम डायमेंशन को अगर हम कंसिडर करें, अगर हम इसके डायमेंशन को अगर कंसिडर करें तो इसके डायमेंशन के अगर हम ओवरलैपिंग करें तो केजी का एम होगा, एल होगा, एल स्क्वायर होगा, टी का पावर -2 होगा। तो ये हमारा डायमेंशन कहलाएगा। एक बार मैं साफ सुथरे से लिखता हूँ। केजी के लिए एम, लेंथ के लिए एल स्क्वायर, टी सेकेंड के लिए, and the next derived units is that velocity. 5 number velocity. That means वेग। वेग विस्थापन बटा समय, मतलब डिस्प्लेसमेंट बटा टाइम। डिस्प्लेसमेंट बटा टाइम। This is the formula of velocity. Displacement, that means distance, any kind of distance. So displacement, that means length. Displacement meter, any kind of distance is measured to be in the unit of meter, in the meter. Time is that for second, that means ms inverse. So this is the unit, and I will find dimension through the formula ms. M is 0, L t power -1. So that this is the dimension. Next, is momentum. Sorry, 6 kinetic energy. Kinetic energy. Kinetic energy. I already know that kinetic energy formula is 1 by mv square. Is that the formula? SI unit. How to calculate the SI unit of in this formula? Meter. That means kg mass. This is the case of mass. Kg velocity is equal to velocity meter square kg. That means kg meter square second square. That means कह सकते हैं कि kg मीटर स्क्वायर सेकेंड -2 कंबाइंड कर लिख सकते हैं। अब इसके डायमेंशन की बात करते हैं। इसके हम अगर डायमेंशन का बात करें, तो kg का m मीटर लेंथ है, l स्क्वायर सेकेंड है, t का पावर -2. This is the dimension formula. And then next is that subweg. Momentum. I will consider the momentum. momentum, that means संवेग, संवेग, संवेग द्रव्यमान इंटू वेग, द्रव्यमान इंटू वेग, द्रव्यमान इंटू वेग, that means mass into velocity, mass into velocity, mass into velocity. Mass is equal to kg, velocity is equal to velocity, I will already find that meter second inverse, and dimension is that m l t ka power minus 1 is the dimension. Next derived units is that, next derived unit is that, next derived units impulse, 8 number impulse, 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 that means it is the pronunciation in the in Hindi. Impulse means आवेग, 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 आवेग is equal to force into time, force into time, force into time, force kg meter second minus 2, time second, that means it is combined and written this kg, kg meter second and minus 1. Are we clear? Yes. And dimension, and dimension, and dimension is that, dimension is that mlt inverse, mlt m l t inverse is the impulse dimension, is the impulse dimension. Next is that, next is that, next power, next power, next power, power शक्ति, 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 पावर इज इक्वल टू, पावर इज इक्वल टू कार्य बटा समय, वर्क बाय टाइम, वर्क बाय टाइम, वर्क बाय टाइम. Work formula is already find that, so that means work is equal to ball into विस्थापन, mass into displacement, sorry, work is equal to force into displacement, work is equal to force into displacement, force into displacement, force into displacement. And time, what that means time, force formula is already defined, kg meter second minus 2, displacement is a any type of distance, that means meter, and meter, time is second, that means kg meter का power 2 second, that means minus 1. So this is the unit, and this formula is also written in this book. Joule is also called joule, is also called joule. This unit is also called joule, joule by second, joule by second, joule by second. इसी को हम कहते हैं वॉट, इसी को कहते हैं वॉट। नेक्स्ट ड्राइव यूनिट्स। नेक्स्ट अभी इसके डायमेंशन की बात करें तो एम एल, एम का एम एल, एल का पावर 2, एल का पावर 2 और टी का पावर -3, टी का पावर -3। यहाँ पर ये ऊपर चला जाएगा तो ये -1 हो जाएगा। दैट मीन्स इज एडेड टू बी इन दिस एंड दिस इज द -3। तो यहाँ इसका डायमेंशन भी -3 हो जाएगा। नेक्स्ट ड्राइव यूनिट्स। नेक्स्ट ड्राइव यूनिट्स। Next drive units is that 10 area. 10 area. 10 is area. What is the SI unit and dimension of area? 10 is area. 10 is area. क्षेत्रफल। area. Area is equal to लंबाई गुने चौड़ाई, L into B. That means L is length and B is also length. So meter into meter, that means meter square. So that means L square. So this is the dimension. Easy for that. And next, आयतन, वॉल्यूम। 11th नंबर वॉल्यूम, आयतन, आयतन, दैट मीन्स वॉल्यूम, वॉल्यूम, वॉल्यूम। L into B, L into B into H, L into B into H, मीटर, meter into meter cube. That means dimension is also written as L cube. Next drive units. Next drive units. Next units is pressure. 12th number pressure. 12th number pressure. Pressure. That means दाब. दाब. Force by area. Force by area. Force by area. Force by area. Force by area, that means kg, kg meter second का power -2 and area is also called meter square. So that means is also called, recombine this and written as kg, kg meter 1, that means -1, meter -1 and second in -2. So this is the unit and dimension is that, dimension is that the dimension is sorry -2. meter is cancelled, meter square है, तो यहाँ पर एक m बचेगा, यहाँ पर एक m बचेगा। दाब का मीटर कैंसल, तो 1 मीटर बचेगा, मीटर इनवर्स, मीटर कैंसल, मीटर इनवर्स। ठीक है, उसके बाद है डायमेंशन। डायमेंशन की बात करें तो हमारा m फिजिकली m n इनवर्स t का पावर -2. This is the dimension of pressure. Pressure is force by the area, but that means I also called force per unit area. any in the any surface. Force is pressure is exerted any volume and any area, any surface area. Next, 13 surface tension. 13 number surface tension. Surface tension. surface tension surface tension पृष्ठीय तनाव पृष्ठीय तनाव पृष्ठ तनाव पृष्ठ तनाव. That means surface tension. That means force by length. Force by length. This is the unique formula of surface tension. Force by length. Force is that kg meter second minus 2, and length is that meter. So that means kg meter is cancel out, and second inverse second power 2. So this is the unit. And what is the dimension? You can also find that dimension. The dimension is m for kg, and L is 0, T is equal to minus 2. This is the dimensional formula of surface tension. It is also written as mt minus 2. Next, 14 घनत्व. That means density. 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 15th number. 14 number. Density. मतलब घनत्व. घनत्व द्रव्यमान बटा आयतन. That means mass by volume. Mass by volume. मास का जो SI यूनिट होगा मास का ऑलरेडी जानते हैं kg, m का kg, और वॉल्यूम का mq. That means minus q. And what is the dimension? M kg for that, m meter cube, L is 0, T L minus q, T is equal to 0. It is the reverse process. It also written as m L minus q. This is the formula of density. And the next formula is that angular velocity. 15th number, angular velocity. Angular velocity. कोणीय वेग. That means कोणीय वेग का फॉर्मूला होता है कोणीय वेग रेखीय वेग. angular velocity by radius. angular velocity by radius. Angular velocity by radius. Angular velocity by radius. Angular velocity is the any type of velocity. That means m s inverse by radius is any type of distance. That means meter. That means meter is cancel out, and remains is second inverse. What is the dimension? The dimension is that T inverse is the dimension is also written as. Next, drive units. Next 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 drive units. 16 number कोणीय विस्थापन. 16 number कोणीय विस्थापन. Angular displacement. Angular displacement. Angular displacement. Angular displacement. Angular displacement. Angular displacement. Angular displacement is चाप बटा त्रिज्या. Arc by radius. Arc by radius. Arc by radius. 1 minute break. 1 minute break. Student, next drive minutes. I will drive. Thanks for waiting. Drive minutes. Drive minutes. Drive minutes. 16 number. Angular displacement. Angular displacement. Angular displacement का अगर बात करें, angular अगर हम displacement का बात करें, angular displacement का बात करें, that means चाप by त्रिज्या, arc by radius, arc by radius, arc by radius. Arc means any type of arc is measured in. Arc is the a special type of measurement. Any angle, any arc are measured to be in the radian. So that means arc by radius is equal to, is also called radian. Is also called radian. This is the a special type of measurement, and a special type of units is also called radian. Radian, that means theta degree. Okay. Next, and I will talk about the dimension. This is the dimensionless quantity. Angular displacement is the dimensionless quantity. Dimensionless quantity. Dimensionless quantity. This is the dimensionless quantity. This is the dimensionless quantity. Okay. Next derived units. Next derived units. Next derived units. Torque. Next derived units is torque. 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 आघूर्ण, इसको कहते हैं क्या? आघूर्ण कहते हैं. आघूर्ण. Torque is equal to force into perpendicular distance. Force into perpendicular distance. Force into perpendicular distance. Perpendicular distance. इसको हम कहते हैं force into perpendicular distance. Force का फॉर्मूला तो जानते हैं, perpendicular distance. तो this is easy for that and already find dimension and assign it. So I will discuss next determinants. Next determinants is that current density. Current density. Current density. Current density. Current density. That means current density by area. तो इसी का फॉर्मूला ही होता है डेंसिटी बटा एरिया. डेंसिटी बटा एरिया. डेंसिटी बटा एरिया. दिस इज द फॉर्मूला ऑफ डेंसिटी. डेंसिटी का फॉर्मूला हम पहले निकाल चुके हैं. डेंसिटी इज इक्वल टू एम्पियर बाय मीटर स्क्वायर. एम्पियर डेंसिटी. करंट का डेंसिटी का जिक्र हो रहा है, करंट का डेंसिटी के बाद. तो करंट को हम एम्पियर में मेजर करते हैं. करंट को किस में मेजर करते हैं? एम्पियर में. तो एम्पियर बाय मीटर स्क्वायर. तो दैट मींस एम्पियर मीटर का पावर -2. दिस इज द डायमेंशन फॉर्मूला ऑफ द करंट डेंसिटी. एंड नेक्स्ट derived units. And the next derived units. Flux. Any kind of flux, magnetic flux, electric flux, any kind of flux is called what a flux. So that means formula is the same. Flux. Flux means flux. This is flux. Flux is equal to R by R A by L. This is the formula. This is the formula of flux. Formula of flux. R is equal to radius of the any cross section area of the conductor, and R is the resistance. P is equal to current density, and L is equal to length of the conductor. Weber is also called measuring in the this is the SI unit. This is the SI unit. SI unit is that Weber. This is the SI unit is Weber. And dimension. In the case of dimension, ml square t का power -2 and I inverse. I inverse is the current geometrical moment of inertia is not is that in the case of flux. This is the I means area, sorry, current. Next derived units is that next derived units is that resistivity. This is the 20 number. Resistivity. प्रतिरोधकता. प्रतिरोधकता। प्रतिरोधकता प्रतिरोधकता का कोई सूत्र नहीं होता है, इसका सूत्र में ब्लैंक किया हुआ है। ओम मीटर, इसका जो ऐसा यूनिट होगा ओम मीटर। ओम मीटर इसका डायमेंशनल फॉर्मूला होगा। अगर हम इसका डायमेंशनल फॉर्मूला का बात करें, अगर हम इसके डायमेंशनल फॉर्मूला का बात करें तो इसका डायमेंशनल फॉर्मूला होगा MLQ T का पावर -Q I का पावर -1. So this is the dimensional formula of resistivity. In that case of resistivity and flux, dimensional formula is already directly written, because in the any rare case of the derived units, as any formula is not existence in the derived units, but dimensional formula is also exist. So next derived units is that latent heat 21 latent heat उष्मा, गुप्त उष्मा latent heat, that means गुप्त उष्मा, उष्मीय ऊर्जा, latent energy by mass, latent energy by mass. This is the formula of latent heat. Energy, what is the formula of energy? Joule. Energy का joule and mass का kg, किलोग्राम। तो इसका जो होगा latent heat का फॉर्मूला वो क्या होगा? जूल बाय केजी, that means जूल केजी इनवर्स। एंड डायमेंशनल फॉर्मूला इज दैट जूल का होता है जूल एल स्क्वायर टी का पावर -2, ये होगा डायमेंशनल फॉर्मूला। नेक्स्ट ड्राइव यूनिट्स नेक्स्ट ड्राइव यूनिट्स जड़त्व आघूर्ण, मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया भार। इसके बाद आता है नेक्स्ट, हम ये लास्ट डिस्कस करेंगे जिसमें आता है चालकता 22 नंबर चालकता। कंडक्टिविटी का अगर हम बात करें, कंडक्टिविटी वहाँ होता है रेसिप्रोकल ऑफ रेसिस्टिविटी। Reciprocal of resistivity is also called conductivity. Reciprocal of resistivity is called conductivity. Reciprocal of resistivity is also called conductivity. इसको कहते हैं हम कंडक्टिविटी कहते हैं। ओके, Next, discuss between SI unit, SI unit, SI unit, SI unit is that SI unit is that ohm inverse, ohm inverse, ohm inverse, ohm inverse. This is not ohm meter inverse. Ohm meter inverse is is wrong. This is the right ohm inverse. That's it. And also m inverse l का power minus q, t का power minus q, sorry q, and a का power 2. This is the dimensional formula of conductivity. This is the whole lecture of unit and dimension, some derived units of fundamental physical quantities. So I hope you understand the u any dot. Then comment in the comment section box. I will try all efforts about whole lecture is written. All data are information are accurate and clearly, and all clarification are are clarified in this lecture. Derived units and fundamental units. Also again with a new video in this further chapter and further topic. Thanks for watching this video.